Hi, everybody. Welcome back here to WXVU, here at Villanova Sports Talk. And it is my honor to introduce Villanova men's basketball head coach Kyle Neptune. Coach Neptune, welcome here to Villanova Sports Talk, and thank you so much for joining me today and taking some time out of your busy schedule.
Thank you so much. Really glad that I got to do this. Appreciate you having me on.
Thank you so much, Coach. So let's get started. Hoops Mania just happened a few days ago. So much energy around campus and getting so close to the blue and white scrimmage coming up on October 8th. What are the vibes and the energy around the team right now? And how much do you and the team look forward to going to Hoops Mania and seeing Nova Nation for the first time of this new school year? And for some players, specifically the freshmen and the transfers, seeing Nova Nation for the first time.
Well, I mean, I thought Hoops Mania was amazing. To be honest, probably the most stressful thing in Hoops Mania is trying to secure the talent and the act for Hoops Mania. But after that, it's such a profound moment on campus, and all the students seem to love it. So, and our guys love doing it. The men's and women's teams, I know they look forward to it every year. So once we secure the talent, that it kind of it runs itself from there. And we appreciate everyone coming out and being so enthusiastic. It was a great night.
That's awesome. And I know you hear so much from the student body about, who's the performer going to be. So much speculation and really such a great event to kick off college basketball season at Villanova.
How do we do? How do we do with our choice this year?
I think I unfortunately was not there this season. I was recovering from a sickness that I was dealing with, but from what I've heard, really great things and gonna put on a great show.
Awesome. Glad to hear it.
With news of Mark Jackson, coach, leaving the Villanova athletic director role for Northwestern coming out earlier last month. Mark's such a big part of this Villanova basketball and Villanova athletics program, of course, being here since 2015, winning 2 national championships. How much will his loss impact Villanova basketball? And how much of an impact did he have on you coming here as a Villanova head coach when you were hired in 2022?
Yeah, there's no question that Mark was a huge piece of what we did in this program for over his tenure here. I think that his hard work, dedication, and who he is as a person, he's just really good at what he does and really understands Villanova. So to say is definitely a loss. He'll definitely be missed. But this is just kind of the situation we're in college sports and sports in general. It's kind of transient. Normally Villanova is not, but it is what it is. Sometimes it happens, and I'm sure Father Peter will make a great choice on the next athletic director, and we'll move forward.
Yeah, definitely looking forward to seeing who the new athletic director will be full term. Coach, before we move on and fully look ahead to 2024, just want to talk a little bit about last season. Obviously the last 2 seasons have not gone the way you guys have wanted them to. But what have you learned in those past 2 seasons, and how do you think specifically last season's adversity will help the team and you moving forward as coach?
I think it's all learning lessons. And to point out just 1 or 2 things, it wouldn't really do it justice. I would say as a player, if you're out on the court, when you go from a freshman to a sophomore to a junior, you just gain so much. I think it's the same as a coach. Even coaches, they'll tell you in their 20th, 21st, 22nd year, they learn pretty much in dog years every year, and I'm no different. So from everything, I think we've gotten better defensively. I think we're better offensively this year. I like our guys. I like their commitment level. We've changed some things schematically. So we looked at everything top to bottom. I echo what you said. We knew that specifically last year was not a year that fit the standards of Villanova basketball, and so we wanted to get better, and I think we did.
That's awesome, Coach. And it's always so interesting hearing from a coach perspective. Obviously, hearing it from the student body, but hearing it as a media member, as a fan, and I really appreciate your insight there on that from a coaching perspective. So moving ahead, one more question regarding last year. Obviously, the defense was the strong suit, of this team last year. There was a stat put out there in late February and early March of last year by @EvanMaya on X or Twitter. It was also shared in a Villanovan article. On runs per game scored and conceded 10-0 runs or better last year, Villanova was second worst behind LSU. Coach, I'm just kind of curious, you talked about the offense last year and how you think you've improved, but how can the team kind of generate more offense this season? And, what have you focused on this offseason to improve offensively?
We tried to last year. I think that one of the things that we, did not do is we didn't score off of our defense. I thought our defense was really good and elite at times, but we didn't necessarily. It didn't necessarily lead to easy baskets on the other end. That's something that we're going to try to do this year. I think we'll try to play a little faster this year as well. So hopefully with more possessions comes some more points, and hopefully we can continue, our stingy defense and rebounding, but get out and open floor a little bit more so we can get some more easy baskets.
That's great, Coach. And now kind of just flipping, the page from 2023 fully here to this upcoming season in 2024. I want to talk a little bit about your game day post on Twitter. You share, or X now, you share a graphic, and inside of the caption, you always put #attitude, all in capital letters. And we hear, so much about the Villanova attitude, the Villanova way. With the number of new players and transfers, coming in every year, and kind of the changing landscape of college basketball with the NIL deals, how hard is it at times to get players used to the Villanova attitude and the Villanova standard?
Well, we're in a new era, just in terms of we mentioned before the transient nature of college sports, but just in general, I just think the players have changed in terms of mentality. I think that the game has changed a lot, over the last couple of years, so you kind of got to just adjust with the times. And it doesn't mean that we're changing our ideals or our standards or what we're looking to do. That means that it's become a little hard to find the guys that we know will fit us, and we got to kind of expand our search to try to find those guys that are think similar to how we want to play and how the standards that we've set for our program in our university. We really believe in doing things a certain way. We want to continue to try to find guys that will commit to coming in and trying to do it a certain way. And then also knowing on the back end that it's going to take time, not just from a simple basketball point of view, just learning, and I don't want to say a different way of doing things in some scenarios. It's just like our learning terminology, learning what we call certain things versus other places call certain things. That's an adjustment as well. So it's just, I think continue to expand our search and trying to find guys that are like-minded, but then also on the other hand, having some patience, knowing that it'll be a process with bringing guys in and expecting them to adjust in a short amount of time.
Yeah, that's such an interesting viewpoint, and I'm sure that as college basketball continues to change with the transfers and different rules, I'm sure that it's also a process that you have to get used to as you continue to recruit players and try to get moves from the transfer portal. Talking specifically about the transfers, how have the new transfer players fit in, and specifically talking about Tyler Perkins, Jameer Brickus, who have played on Philly 5 teams. Jameer Brickus going up just 20 miles away in Coatesville, Pennsylvania from Villanova. How do you expect, how do you expect their success to transfer over from other conferences to the Big East?
Yeah, and those are two guys that really fit with what we are looking to do. To speak with Jameer to start, he is the classic point guard. He's a guy that can really shoot it, but then he is a high level decision maker. He makes great decisions with the ball, in ball screens and ISOs and transition. He's just a really good decision maker. He's more athletic than you think. He's more vertically athletic than you think. So he's someone that I think we talk about starting the offense and getting you into things. I think he can do that at a high level. And then Tyler Perkins is, he's still a young guy. He's only got 1 year in college, but he's a tough son of a gun, tough mentally and tough physically. He's cut in that cloth of other guys that we've had in the past that just come out and leave it all on the floor. And, he makes plays every now and again in practice from a just physical and toughness standpoint that, really entice and ignite his teammates to play harder as well. So we like what both those guys bring. Really excited for them to get started this year.
And excited to watch them too this season. Really looking forward to it. Coach, talking about some other new players that you'll have on your roster, specifically the freshmen, 4 new freshmen this year. One of your really first true classes of your recruits, which I'm sure you're really excited about. Josiah Mosley, Malcolm Thomas, Matthew Hodge, Alexander Gablagov. How much will the freshmen play this season, and what do you expect to get out of them?
Well, first, I love our freshmen. They're a really talented bunch. They're in it is a really huge challenge coming from high school basketball to college basketball. There's so many different things that you have to pick up in a short amount of time. And forget just the physical components from the speed, athleticism, and strength point of view. That is a huge adjustment. The things that you could do in high school and the way that you could dominate in high school from a physicality point of view is really hard to do those things initially when you come to college. That is definitely an adjustment period. And then the game is just more advanced. So you're playing with older, stronger, faster, smarter players that are as talented as you or more talented than you in some cases, and you have to be able to compete against those guys. And you're younger and you haven't done it before. You don't have the experience. So I think that our guys, to their credit, have adjusted as well as they possibly can. They have each one of those guys have extremely bright futures here. We're still early on, so to say who's going to play, who's not going to play as much, I think that'd be a little premature. But we're excited about all of our guys.
Makes sense, Coach. Thank you. It would not be a Villanova basketball interview without mentioning Eric Dixon. Dixon, who now starts his 6th year here at Villanova, made a big decision in the offseason when he went to social media and announced that he was returning to Villanova for this upcoming year. How much does Eric Dixon bring to this team, and how excited are you to have him back and continue to work with him this year?
Eric is someone I've known since he was, 16, 17 years old. He's now an old, wildly veteran in college basketball. And he's obviously an unbelievable player, unbelievable talent. And that still pales in comparison to who he is as a person. He's a true Villanovan, someone that really believes in the mission of our university and our program. So to have someone, and then also you're talking about a second team all-league player that's returning. So, when you think of all those things, obviously couldn't be more excited to have him back out on the floor and as a leader in our locker room.
And once again, from the student perspective, really excited to have him back this year. You guys have really prioritized, it seems like, size and specifically kind of the forward position with transfers this offseason, specifically with Enoch Bawache, of course, having Nana and Joku, eventually come back at some point this year. How important has that been, getting size when looking at transfers? And how important is the spot behind Eric Dixon coming off the bench this year? I know, Coach, there were a lot of times last year where Dixon was playing, most of the minutes in the game.
Yeah, obviously we want Eric out there as much as we can, but I do feel like having other guys, that can play while he's not out there, but also play with him, can be good for us. So, we love Enoch. Enoch is someone that has come in, and I don't know if there's anyone that's worked harder in the weight room, on the floor, and I don't know if there's anyone that's had a better attitude. He's like I just mentioned, he's an extremely hard worker, but he also has an unbelievable attitude and approach to the game. And he's another guy that inspires our guys with how hard he plays and how unselfish he is. Just a joy to be around. Great person.
And our final basketball question for you, Coach. This offseason, you added Jamie Young to your coaching staff, who has over 20 total years of college and NBA coaching experience. Coached in the NBA for great coaches like Doc Rivers and great teams like the Philadelphia 76ers, and most recently in college with the Lemoyne Dolphins. What does he bring to your coaching staff, and how excited are you to work with Jamie and to gain his experience from not just college basketball but also the NBA?
Yeah, I think Jamie brings a very unique perspective, not just basketball wise, just from coaching at the highest level, coaching some of the best players. You're talking about his coach Jason Tatum and Paul Pierce, Kevin Garnett. Like you've been around Joel Embiid. Like all these guys are arguably some of the best players of all time. He's won a championship with the Celtics as well. So his wealth of experience is something that we're definitely going to draw into on both sides of the ball, but also just in our locker room and in our private moments to help our team any way he can.
Thank you, Coach. Really excited, of course, for the season. And one final question, not basketball related. It's a WXVU tradition that I've started over the past year or so to ask our interviewees about their favorite cheesesteak spot as a proud Philadelphian. However, I know I asked you this last year at Media Day. You mentioned that you don't really do cheat meals. So my question for you is, when you're on a road trip, let's say you're going to Creighton, going to DePaul, what is like your go-to favorite snack, comfort food, something that Coach Neptune has to do on a trip?
I don't have really I eat whatever the guys eat. So our guys are on strict diets. They're eating everything clean, grass-fed, drinking mostly water. So I don't know if it just happens during the year that I slim down quite a bit because I'm eating extremely clean and healthy and whatever our guys are eating. Not too many cheat meals. And we bring out, we have every time we go to anywhere on the road, we have all our meals catered as well. So we're pretty much we're pretty strict over here. So and not too many cheat meals, unfortunately.
Okay. Well, thank you so much, Coach Neptune. I really appreciate you taking the time out of your schedule as we approach this season and talking with me today about the upcoming season. And of course, for all of our listeners out there, you can tune in to WXVU. We'll have coverage of all the home men's basketball games as we've had for the past 2 years and also some away venue games. So looking forward to the season, Coach, and thank you so much.
Thank you. Appreciate you having me on.